Don't go anywhere, guys. Stick with me through the intro because I have discount codes for y'all from our partners and affiliates over here at Fall Obsession Podcast. The first one is Hoot Camo. If you guys shop with Hoot and you use the code FallObsession15, that is going to save you guys some money at checkout. I've been rocking Hoot gear for a couple seasons now. I've worn it in Texas, Colorado, Idaho, ton of different environments. Can't say enough about the quality of the gear, the versatility, and the function of the patterns. Hoot has done a great job. And the best part about it is if you guys are looking for a good quality set of camouflage to get into on par with the industry leaders, I would say, then you need to check out Hoot because you'll notice that they are at a price point that is very affordable for the blue collar outdoors man and woman. So check out Hoot Camo today, see what they got over there for you, and again, use that discount code to save some money at checkout. The next discount code is from Trophy Edits. Trophy Edits is a team of professionals that will clean up and make the most out of your hunting photos, those kill shots. Perhaps you got something with a lot of blood on it. You got a memorable moment in the woods that's out of focus. Maybe the lighting's off, whatever it might be. The Trophy Edits team puts in a lot of work to clean up those photos for you guys. And at first you guys may be thinking, man, do I really need photo editing? But think about it for a second. Maybe it's your kid's first deer, your wife's first deer, your first hunt with a family member, maybe a last hunt with a family member that has since passed. And you want to be able to remember it in the best way possible. That's what the Trophy Edits team is there for. You guys can get prints. You can get all sorts of different stuff from them in addition to just the editing services. And if you use the code Fall Obsession, all lowercase, one word, that will save you guys some money. When you shop with them, go to the link in this podcast description. That will send you over there and let them know that you came from us. We always appreciate that. Go check out Trophy Edits. Bear River Archery is the official bow shop of Fall Obsession. And if you guys are local to the North Texas area, you need to head on over to Bear River in Van Alstyne and see Justin and everything he's got going on over there. Let him know that Fall Obsession sent you. Go check out Bear River Archery. The Outdoor Call radio app is one of the many places you will find Fall Obsession podcast streaming. And what it is an app that you can download on any device and stream hunting shows and podcasts on a loop every single day. Fall Obsession Podcast is on that loop on Mondays. That's when you guys can listen to our team and our episodes on there, as well as a ton of other shows. So go follow the Outdoor Call radio app and Outdoors Dan, the show host, on social media, and be sure that you download the app today for free. Last but not least, Ridge Rock Hunt Company is a podcast partner. Derek Eves is the man over there in Mississippi, booking hunts with vetted and trusted outfitters across the country. He has a large network of such individuals, and he will get you guys set up right if you have a hunt that you're looking to book through an outfitter. So Derek Eves, Ridge Rock Hunt Company, you need to go check him out. Finally, thank you guys for tuning in to this Fall Obsession podcast episode. Whatever platform you are streaming on, I'm going to ask you guys to please hit that follow or subscribe button, whatever they have up there for you. If you can turn your notifications on, if that's an option, be sure that you do that. That way you know every time we drop a new episode and new content. Go check out the YouTube channel. We put the video versions of the podcast on the YouTube channel, as well as tons of other hunting shows and films that we have in our editing room that we're working on. We got a lot of stuff that's about to start hitting that YouTube in February. So need you guys over there and subscribe to that. Check out everything we got going on. Social media, the major platforms, Facebook, Instagram, X, all that stuff. You guys go follow Fall Obsession. We are on TikTok as well, Fall Obsession Media on TikTok. And then fallobsession.com is the website. All of our content and our shows all filter through there. You can stream everything directly from the website if you like. And then you guys can also shop around, get some hats or shirts if you want to support a small-time hunting brand, and see everything that we got going on over here for ourselves and our team. Last but not least, if you guys are not watching our 4 different series on Carbon TV, you need to be. Carbon TV is like Netflix for hunting. It's a streaming app that you can put on your phone, your tablet, your smart TV, or just pull it up on your computer browser, whatever it might be, and start streaming for free. You'll find, again, 4 Fall Obsession related shows on there. This podcast, our staff-inspired video podcast series called Couch Chats, is on there, as well as our 2 different hunting shows, Texas Dirt and Midwest Mindset. Go check out Carbon TV and everything streaming over there. I'm done with the intro. Thanks for bearing with me. We are now heading over to the conversation and another Fall Obsession podcast episode.
Oh, you got her, dude. She's down.
Let's go.
Dude, I just shot a deer of a lifetime.
Freaking smoked him.
One with nature, and if you're a believer, one with God.
Definitely gets your heart pumping. Boy, you are in trouble.
Fall Obsession Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to another Fall Obsession podcast. My name is Sam Thrash. I'm your show host over here. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm going solo again this week, and if you guys are a returning listener, you've been tuned into the show for a little while now, you've undoubtedly heard me do these solo podcasts periodically. Some of you guys may like them. Some of y'all may hate them and be thinking about turning it off right now. I'm going to encourage you to please not, at least give me a chance here, because I have some stuff I want to say. This is a very intentional podcast and one that touches some stuff that we typically don't talk a whole lot about, and that is just the negativity surrounding hunting and the outdoors. And this is not something that a lot of outdoors men and women have to deal with on a regular basis. As far as, we have our own circles of friends, whether that be people that we see on a daily or weekly basis, our friends online on Facebook and Instagram, all that kind of stuff, our friends at our work or our church or anything else, kids, sporting events, whatever it might be, school. We have our circles, and typically our circles are made up of like-minded people, right? But when you start getting out there beyond your circles and you start being open and honest about being a hunter, being an outdoor enthusiast, that's when you are exposing yourself to that negative energy and those people who want to rain down hate on hunters and outdoors men and women. I will say that as Fall Obsession, we have been very, very fortunate to honestly not have to deal with that a whole lot. And I don't know if it is just given the recent elections or political climates, whatever it might be, that just have people more stirred up in general. I do think that some social media algorithms are shifting a little bit. You got, obviously, I'm not trying to talk politics here by any means, but you got Musk taking over Twitter, now X. You got Meta now doing away supposedly with the fact checking and all that kind of stuff. So some stuff's shifting a little bit in the social media world. And one thing that I've noticed really ever since last fall, when we were pretty vocal as an organization, and rightfully so, we should be, about Proposition 127 and the mindset and the consequences really surrounding that on both sides of the fence. Depending on your perspective, we were very vocal about that kind of stuff, and we weren't shying away from it. And that obviously, especially with a platform like ours, the point that I'm getting at is that opens ourselves up to, the opposing side, the opposition, the haters, the trolls, those kind of people, to find your page and to feel like they need to go keyboard warrior on you. So that's when you have an issue like Proposition 127, that's expected, I would say. And I'm not trying to make this podcast about that specifically. I have other stuff I want to talk about. We talked about 127 back then and some of the comments that we got surrounding that. I think I even did a solo podcast where I talked briefly about some of that stuff. But I have some other things on my mind, because since then, even in the last couple of months, we have had way more people checking out our Facebook, and way more people that don't like hunting checking out our Facebook, apparently. And I want to actually get into some of these comments with you guys on this podcast, because I think it's some of them are kind of funny, some of them are sick, some of them are just, you can sense the hate with some of these people. It's incredible. And I'm going to respect privacy to a point. You guys are going to know good and well. I will. I mean, in the podcast video, I might even put the picture in here or the post in here so that you guys can actually see it. And if you want to go find it on our Facebook page, you're more than welcome to. And at that point, yeah, you'll see all the comments that are out there for the world to see. So for those of you commenting on these couple of posts that I'm throwing out there, congratulations, you made the podcast, whether you wanted to or not. But the first one, we posted this back on December 29th. This was a picture one of our staff members, Kim, sent in from her and her friends, her husband. They all went out and did some rabbit hunting, some small game hunting. And while we have a lot of content focused on big game hunting at Fall Obsession, small game hunting is equally as much a part of hunting in the outdoors as big game hunting. And there's a lot of people out there that do that. And for whatever reason, this picture just hit the algorithms just right. And I don't know that all these comments are in the exact order. I mean, the date range is all pretty close. Like I said, it hit the algorithm just right. We do have some people on here, like my good buddy Derek Eves over at Ridge Rock. He puts the smiley face with the sunglasses on there, you know, cool stuff, you know. So thanks, Derek, for the support. Appreciate you, man. But then the very next comment from this guy named Rocky is white folks. White folks. I'm not racist, but why? Why are we commenting that? Why do we need to put white folks on there? Yes, the individuals in the picture are Caucasian human beings. Good observation. Next guy, disgusting murderers. Why? And then this next guy named Gary found it necessary to comment a photo, basically the hotline for cowards, 1-800-COWARDS. So if you guys are thinking you're a coward and you need to call somebody, then you can dial that number, I guess. But I've talked on here before about how I don't remain silent with these people when they comment on our stuff. I believe, and this is going to be the second half of this podcast, I'm going to talk about this in this conversation, but I do believe that we should be able to respond to this kind of hate or this kind of criticism in a very respectful manner, an educational manner. I think that's where it's appropriate, and I believe that's what we as Fall Obsession are going to try to do through all of this. I think when we start bringing emotions into it, that's when we start losing our footing, losing our credibility, and people who might be curious about hunting but don't understand hunters and they're trying to gain an understanding, that's when we start losing them. When we actually start acting like these people are accusing us of acting, if that makes sense. Because once you start putting emotions into it, that's when the common sense and everything becomes a little bit more skewed. So we have to be, and I'll talk about that a little bit later in more detail, but we have to, when we respond, we have to be respectful and educational with our responses. So I got on here and started responding to some of these comments and everything. And you guys can look at our Facebook over the years, our YouTube over the years, our Instagram over the years. When people just want to spread hate, sometimes I'll comment on there, and every once in a while I'll put a little bit of a fun twist on it and stuff like that. I'm trying to be respectful, like I said, and educational, but I enjoy hunting, and I'm not going to shy away from that, and I enjoy these kind of discussions and debates, but it gets to a point where I don't enjoy them anymore, and the conversation needs to end because I don't want anything to go in a direction it doesn't need to go. But this one guy that posted the hotline, I got on there because I think this might have been actually the first comment on this post, but I got on here because I was just curious. I was like, why did this guy find this page? Why did he think he needed to comment on this? And keep in mind, guys, this photo is tastefully done. Like, we all have seen photos like this for generations of a group of people sitting around the tailgate, and the tailgate has, you know, your haul for the day. The tailgate has, in this case, all of the rabbits that this hunting party was able to obtain for the day, and they are tastefully and respectfully standing around it and taking a group photo because they're proud of their success. They worked hard for it, they earned it, and they had a good time. They want to remember the moment. So I called this guy out because, I mean, it's the coward hotline, but then if you read the rest of it, it has plenty of other inappropriate sexual undertones to it. And so I said, I'm sure that you can find an anti-hunting group out there where somebody may agree with your insults. This is a hunting and outdoors page full of hunters and outdoorsmen and women, probably not your audience. And then he proceeds to engage exactly the right audience that needs to hear it. Wouldn't expect anything less from a coward from France. Or I might be getting some of these comments out of line, but he starts, some other people start getting on here and engaging with this guy. This other gentleman that commented earlier calling us disgusting murderers believes that he needs to get back on here now in this thread with this other gentleman and again call us murderers of innocent animals. We have a couple people now chiming in, and I took that earlier one out of context. This other person that looks like they are pro hunting in this stance, they proceed to get on here and call this gentleman the coward from France. That's what I was referring to. I read that one out of context, and I apologize. But so we start going back and forth, and I only put the one comment on here, and then these other folks kind of jumped in and started doing that. Then we have some folks starting to hop on here and posting their own success pictures. Lady named Alicia Warner gets on here and posts a picture from her squirrel hunting adventures. And I think later on down here somewhere, another gentleman posted some bird hunting photos. And immediately this guy is back on here, this Allen guy, just proving your sickness, he says to Alicia. And then squirrels, effing squirrels. What a bunch of hicks. And it's just obviously people that don't understand this, right? And these are the people that are being loud and being vocal. And again, I don't know why this post just hit these algorithms just right, but it did. This other, I'm going through, I have my computer in front of me as I'm talking to you guys and going through this and everything. And there's people on here that have good intentions. We have a gentleman on here that told this guy to crawl back under his bridge, called him a troll. And I'll talk more about that here in a little bit, but we have people who are commenting on it that are trying to be, you know, in defense of hunting. I don't necessarily agree with the tastefulness of it, as far as the respect goes and everything. But I mean, so when I was talking about kind of how I like to, you know, have fun with conversations and stuff on social media. This one gentleman gets on here, Andrew, and he says, what does he say here? Oh, come on. Now my Facebook is being weird, but he says, smiling for a photo with dead bodies of animals, disturbing. My comment to that was, yes, and they taste good. I mean, they do. And so you can take what you want with that. I'm not trying to, I know I'm stirring the pot a little bit probably, but that's about as far as I'll take it when it comes to, I don't want to say messing with these people, because that in this podcast will probably be taken out of context, but I know I'm not going to change their mind, right? And I've said that before on the show. I am not going to change their mind. And they're not going to change mine. They may think they are by whatever weird reason, but they're not going to, just like I'm not going to change theirs. The reason that I engage, the reason that we comment and we defend hunting is because there are people that are looking at this that are undecided. There are people who are curious but don't do it yet. And we have to be able to defend and justify hunting and not let this hate and negativity in these keyboard warriors just take this stuff over, in my opinion. So that's why we respond and we re-engage. Mr. Bobby gets on here and he says, example of depleting duck populations into extinction for fun and amusement. My response to Bobby was, it's a good thing they're not hunting ducks. Like, come on, man. Look at the freaking picture. Don't just some people. I'm sorry, but I digress. I'm continuing to scroll through here, and there was one gentleman on here that got on here, and he proceeded to call us sad, sadistic, and evil, and then said, "Try hunting each other and do us all a favor." My response to, and I will say his name on the podcast because this gentleman was by far the most vocal and the most hateful anti-hunter that was coming on here, Mr. Alan Price. My response was, Alan Price, this is a hunting and outdoors page. You can take your hate somewhere else. It does nothing here. And he proceeds to comment more about how if we can't handle honest reactions to our boastful sadism and warped selfies with victims' dead bodies, then you shouldn't be posting these grotesque images publicly for them to land on our feeds unsolicited. That's kind of what got me. And it's kind of pathetic in the context of you inflicting so much killing for kicks that you get uppity about mere words. My response, mainly just to his first comment on how if we can't handle these reactions, I just said I'm pretty sure we can handle it. And then he proceeds to call me out for initiating drama. My response to that, no drama. We normally engage most comments on our platforms, both good and bad. Here's what I know. This is a hunting page full of hunters who share a passion for the outdoors and providing meat for their families and putting food on their tables by exercising their God-given right. You saw our post and felt the need to share hate instead of just passing it over, or even better, clicking the button that tells Facebook to not show it to you, to not show you this content anymore. If you don't care for our content, no one is making you see it. And then he continues to rant about us sharing a passion for killing, sadism, for warp kicks. Let's see, if you believe in a good and decent God, then you know there's no place for sadism and boasting about killing your fellow creatures for sport. These comments are long, guys. I'm not gonna, I won't keep going and reading them word for word, but he's very lengthy in his responses and very vocal about us being sadistic killers, apparently. My next response, no one is changing each other's mind here. We recommend you exercise your ability to update your feed's content preferences as far as what you would and would not like to see. And this is kind of where I just had enough with this guy and told him to have a great day. And he kept coming back and poking and prodding, and then we start getting some other gentlemen commenting on here and trying to, again, defend hunting. And like Mr. Alan Price is getting in these comments so far off into the weeds, like now he's talking about nasty things are the words he used, but all of these, literally he references biblical times and all of the nasty things that happen, as far as, pillaging villages and the killing and everything and the violence that happened, back in those days and everything, and comparing this to that. And these comments just go on and on and on. So this is what I'm talking about. We posted this photo, which is a very tasteful photo, and for some reason, just with the algorithms, all these antis thought that it was a great idea to hop on here and just start spreading hate. Just comment after comment after comment of them insulting us, and like it's legit hate, guys. Like I said, some of these comments are them straight up telling us to hunt each other and do the world a favor, basically. It's sick. And they're never going to understand it. They're never going to understand it from our perspective. We can go blue in the face, typing away and arguing with them on social media, and nothing is going to change their minds. If you the best thing that I can say is, if you don't like what we post, and this goes for any page, if you don't like what a page posts, our page, Fall Obsession, pick it. Pick the page. You can unfollow, you can unlike, you can leave. You can leave. If it's popping up in your Facebook feed, because I like my Facebook feed gets filled with stuff from news outlets and, news articles and all this other stuff that I don't subscribe to, and some stuff is, from a particular viewpoint that I don't personally agree with, right? But I don't get on those news articles that I don't agree with, or at least they're written by somebody who's, coming from a direction I don't agree with. I don't get on there and just comment away about, insulting them and about how this is wrong and they're wrong and, they're going to hell and all this other stuff. I click the 3 buttons in the top right corner, and I click the button that says show me less of this, or whatever it is, to tell Facebook and tell the algorithms that I don't want to see this kind of content. That's all it is. And for whatever reason, there are people out there who just want to hate. They are just looking to pick a fight. And I guarantee you that if I was face to face with Mr. Alan Price and having a in-person conversation with them, he would probably be speaking a little bit differently. And I'm not saying that as a threat. I'm not saying that from the standpoint of, I'd show him. No, I would still be representing hunting in the outdoors in a respectful and professional and educational way. But I guarantee you that his argument, while it may be the same argument and he may have the same feelings, he would sound a little bit different. Because when you're face to face with somebody talking about this kind of stuff, you act differently than you do when you're behind a keyboard and there's no consequences for your actions. The only thing that you can do is sit there and boil over and get angry by yourself and just wait in anticipation of the next person that's going to comment on there and give you more ammunition and something else to say. Where am I going with this? Why am I recording a podcast episode about haters, trolls, negativity, just the evil that's out there against us? Because we have to be prepared to meet it. We have to be prepared to have a response. And some of my responses, like I read to you guys, they might poke the bear a little bit, in kind of a fun way, in a fun and loving way is how I would put it. But at the end of the day, I am respectful. I am not emotional. I am true to my beliefs on hunting in the outdoors, and I try to paint them in the best light possible. And that's what we have to do. If you guys go and look at this post, and there's another post I'll tell you guys to go look at too as I'm getting into this next part of the conversation and everything. If you guys go look at this post, you will also notice the people who are hunters and outdoors men and women who are getting on there and commenting. And I am grateful. I am grateful for those who follow our page and see our post and see stuff like this popping up, and they themselves are passionate and intent enough about it to where they want to also respond. They want to also comment and try to help defend hunting in the outdoors. But as a fellow hunter, I would just like to caution everybody on it. Yes, there are terrible people out there. There are people who show up to the fight and the argument from the first word that they type, and they are in the gutter already. That's where they always fight from, and that's where they're trying to draw us into. We can't stoop to that level. We can't stoop to their level. We can call them out. We can call them out for the bull crap. We can, educate them. I say educate them. Like I said, I know we're not going to change their minds, but we can point out the flaws, right? And we can professionally and respectfully represent hunting, because that's what it has to be. That's what it has to be. If you look at the larger media industry, the movie industry, the film industry, Disney, all of these big, like that's the level I'm talking, right? All of these big movie production and show production companies. How is hunting always portrayed, or hunters always portrayed in those shows? They're always rednecks. They're always hicks. They're always crude, rough, angry, frustrated, mean people. That's how, from the get-go, from a little kid watching a show or a film, that's how we're portrayed. We're up against it from day one, unless somebody grows up in hunting in the outdoors. So we have to be able to paint hunting in a light that is attractive to those people who have their curiosity piqued. We have to show them what it truly is. We can't lower ourselves to the level of this mess that these people are. And that, I'm talking about in person, I'm talking about on social media, and obviously in this case I'm mainly talking about social media because that's where they speak the loudest. That's where they speak the loudest. The other thing, and the next post I'm going to point out, again, on our Facebook page, I want you guys, I'm scrolling right now, trying to pull it up. Here it is. I want you guys to go look at it if you have a chance to look at these posts and you're so inclined. January 5th. On January 5th, we posted a photo of just a light haul, but a successful morning, in the waterfowl world. Got a few birds laying there on a log. Success, right? And the caption reads, "Weekends are for the birds." Try to be a little clever with some of this stuff. But again, another post that hit the algorithms pretty well. You get a couple of people on here that comment, and they're obviously anti-hunters. Again, when it first went out and I first noticed that it started getting a bunch of comments, I was like, okay, here we go again. We're about to have a whole bunch of others on here. And like the first comment you see on here, evil obsession for heartless cowards. Evil obsession, I don't know, that kind of has a ring to it, actually. Maybe we should change our name to that. But yeah, right out of the gate, evil obsession for heartless cowards. Great, man. Productive comment. You showed us. You told us, Mr. Bobby. Good job. And then we have some hunters on here that are commenting, that are, sharing their own hauls, their own success. But then we have some other guys on here that are getting on here like, oh, looks a little over the limit. Yeah, this guy names a state. He's over. Yep. And then some other comments about that. And then, yeah, there's just a few on here, a couple of comments, not a lot, but I point you to this post because it's important that we're respectful to one another. You can be pro hunting, and you can see a post or a comment by another hunter that you don't necessarily agree with, but that doesn't mean you have to be mean or crude in the comments, because that's what the antis want to see. That's when we are playing into their agenda. That's when we are acting like the way they believe we're portrayed. So we have to be very careful, guys, just in the social media world with how we portray ourselves and our interactions with one another. It's very, very important to do that, and we have to represent hunting in a positive light. When we start attacking each other or criticizing each other, that's when things get messy. And we've talked about this with multiple guests on our show, just talking about big game hunting. You see a guy that shoots a 4-point buck, a little 2-year-old deer, and posts a picture about it. Go look at the comments. I guarantee you, at least if he has a big enough following, there's going to probably be somebody in there that might be talking a little bit of smack to him for shooting a deer that small or that young. But what I'm going to tell you is you don't know his journey. You don't know what phase of hunting he's in. For me personally, I'm not going to shoot a 4-point buck, a small 2-year-old 4-point. I'm not going to do that. That's Sam Thrash. But that doesn't mean that another hunter in another state, that might be the only opportunity he has all year to hunt. That might be the only deer he has seen all year. That might be the only opportunity he has to put meat on his table that year for his family. You don't know the circumstances. Little kids killing their first deer, right? Honestly, and there is positivity. I'll get to that. There are plenty of people who are supportive. I'm harping a lot on the negativity, I know, but from the other standpoint, like, you have these little kids, and you get plenty of comments flooding in, like, congrats on your first deer, awesome job, another hunter is born, whatever it might be. And then there's always somebody in there, like, some comment about it being a young deer or whatever, or how there won't be a big buck walking around in the future. But then if that same little girl, little boy that shot that 4-point buck as their first deer, if they were to go out and shoot a 140-inch 5-year-old, well, there's going to be a bunch of grown men commenting on there about how they're basically out of jealousy about how, well, I wish I could kill a deer like that. Well, which one is it, man? What do you want, right? This is the stuff we have to steer clear from. You don't know that person, that hunters, that new little kid that's just now getting into hunting and just killed their first deer. You don't know their situation, right? And if you did, I guarantee you're going to be supportive of them, right? That's what we have to encourage. That's what we have to do. And we have to be supportive of one another in these various regards. And that brings me to my next point on why. I mean, there's always the stigma, right? And always the saying on the phrase silent majority, vocal minority, right? Why? Why is the majority always so quiet? And I do it too. I will raise my hand. I am just as guilty as the next freaking guy. Why do we scroll Facebook or Instagram and we see these pictures and we're like, oh yeah, that's a nice elk. Oh, that's a nice whitetail. That's a nice mule deer. Oh, look, they got a whole bunch of geese right there. Good for them. And we just keep scrolling. We hit the like button and we keep scrolling. Why do we not drop a comment? And I'm getting off into the weeds of social media and everything, but why not? Why can we not give one another that positive reinforcement? Why can it not be a vocal majority, right? Because on our pages, on Fall Obsession pages, any hunting page out there, I mean, we have tens of thousands of followers, right? Across the various social platforms. And they're not anti-hunters, they're hunters and outdoorsmen and women that follow us. Why can our posts, and I'm using us as an example, right? This isn't me, calling for more likes or anything like that. I'm just using us as the example. But why can't our posts be filled with positivity? Why can't they be filled with people that are just encouraging one another, like, nice job, man, nice haul, great buck, great elk, good job, good shot, whatever it might be? Why can we not give that support to one another? Why is it only the antis that are getting on there, or us criticizing one another and arguing with one another? Why is that the comments that always stick out? Why are our posts so filled with that? And why does it take an event like this post on December 29th on our page for hunters to actually start getting vocal on these pages, right? Just throwing it out there. I don't know the answer. But what if a picture of a mess of rabbits in the back of a truck with hunters standing around it, and tastefully done, I'll add that, a tasteful photo. What if when Alan Price clicks on that photo and he sees a mess, just a ton of positive, encouraging comments from pro-hunting individuals on there? You think he might think twice about commenting? I don't know the answer. I don't know him. But I like to think that a person like that might think twice before they just start going all keyboard warrior on everybody. Why can we not provide that kind of encouragement and that kind of positivity to one another? We have to do that. We have to build each other up. That is how this hunting community stays strong. And that is how, when we have new hunters, whether they're kids, spouses, or adult onset hunters, that is how we paint this thing in a positive light for them. That's how we showcase and show them hunting in the outdoors for what it truly is. A community, a brother and sisterhood of like-minded individuals coming together and enjoying our God-given right. And it is a God-given right. This one dude, I talked about him earlier, about how he got on there and started comparing hunting to all the killing back in biblical times, right? Read the Bible. I'm not trying to get all religious on you here on the podcast, but read the Bible, because in the Bible it talks about how hunting is our God-given right, and how we are to take up our quiver and our bow and go get and kill an animal for meat. Like, I am the worst person, and I'm a pastor's kid, which makes this even worse. But I'm the worst person for being able to just off the top of my head pull a Bible verse out and quote it. I've never been able to do that. But the Bible literally talks about this, about how we are to hunt these animals. These animals are here for us. And like, I could go on a whole nother tangent about that, and how, you know, we are to have dominion over these creatures. Like, we are to not only hunt them and they are here for us, they are here for meat, for our tables, for our families, but we're also, like, God gave them to us, and we are to take care of them. We're to take care of their habitat and ensure that they stay here for generations to come. And that's where the whole conservation conversation comes in, right? And I'm not going to get off into the weeds on that in this particular podcast. That I'd be here all night. I'm already on a soapbox. But why is the majority always quiet? Why can we not build one another up and take the few extra seconds it takes to just comment on somebody's post and say, good job, congrats, nice shot, whatever it might be? That's my challenge for anybody that's made it to this point of this podcast, is do that more. Do that more. Be more encouraging to one another. Don't just let the negativity and the hate and the trolls and just all the people who are just looking to pick a fight, don't let them take over our social media pages. No, don't do that. And you want to go a step farther? Whatever hunting pages you follow, whatever content creators you like and videos you watch, reels, whatever it is, share them with other people. It takes 2 seconds to hit the select all your friends and invite all to like this page. Go do that too. Like, build it bigger. Let's make this hunting community even bigger than it already is. Why wouldn't we? We have to be respectful. And when we start getting off in the weeds, trying to make an example of others, trying to point fingers at one another, or again, stooping down to the gutter and the level that the anti-hunters want us to be at, to argue with them. They want us to be down there with them. They want us to be emotional. When we start doing all that, we start losing credibility. We have in our core values at Fall Obsession respect. That is one of our 4 core values at Fall Obsession. And it's, you know, at the 10,000 foot view, somebody that's just seeing it on the website and reading it, family, quality, respect, and authenticity are our core values. Somebody that's just reading it on the website, they may look at that and just think, well, yeah, you got to be respectful of the animals that you pursue, right? And they're not wrong. We also have to be respectful of others. That includes hunters, and that includes non-hunters. That includes the anti-hunters. That includes the haters and the trolls. That includes everybody. We can defend hunting. We should defend hunting. We have to defend hunting, but we can do so respectfully. We can do so Without emotion influencing us, we can do so um, without our own version of the hate, if you will. We have to be educational about it, and we have to paint hunting in a positive light. I just got a lot off my chest. So again, that's stuff that's just been stewing with me up to this point and everything. So I appreciate you guys that are still with me on this podcast. I hope that folks are listening. I hope that this reaches people and resonates with people, and I hope that it's stuff that you can apply to your own social media pages and everything. I'm not trying to, I've told you guys to go look at the Facebook. I've told you guys to go look at the comments and everything, but let's get one thing clear. I am not telling you guys to go on there and feel like you have to comment. This is not a call to arms in that regard. I'm using these posts as examples. I'm telling you guys where they are if you want to look at them for yourselves and see what was out there, see what was said. But that does not mean that we need more people getting on there and stirring the pot even more. So check it out if you want. But remember everything that we've talked about. And at the end of the day, these folks that are getting on there and posting these things, again, we're not going to change their mind. Stuff's already been said on there. And we can call out people till we're blue in the face. We can keep commenting on these posts until there's 1,000 comments, 1,000,000 comments on each of them. And at the end of the day, the two sides that are butting heads and going at each other here, the line's not going to move. That's not what's going to move the line. Moving the line is influencing the influenceable, influencing the influencers, and working to build a strong, positive, respectful hunting community. That's what we can do, whether that's online, whether that's in person, mentoring others and helping others to understand what hunting in the outdoors truly is, what it means to people, why it is even still a thing, why it is not a evil and sadistic thing, why it is a God-given right. We need to educate people. People need to know. And right now, more and more people are influenceable than ever before, in my opinion, at least in recent years. People are paying attention to stuff right now. People are curious about stuff right now. There are things, take any part of it. You want to talk about food. You want to talk about medicine. You want to talk about politics. You want to talk about hunting. Take anything like that. And right now, people that have always been channeled in a certain way of thinking about any one of those particular things or all of them, we're just at a time in the world where their curiosity is piqued. They're like, maybe there is something out there that I'm missing in this regard. Maybe I wasn't told something, or maybe I had the wrong impression about this, that, or the other. Take that opportunity to influence them. Take that opportunity to explain to them, man, this is why I hunt. This is what it means to me. This is what I grew up doing. This is why I find value in it. And then take them with you. We can sit there and explain to somebody what hunting means on social media or in person all day long. But until they actually get to go, they're not going to fully understand. And that's the sacrifice. That's the sacrifice that many of us have to be prepared to make, to take somebody hunting who hasn't been hunting before. They don't have to be the killer. They don't have to be the shooter. But taking them with you to experience the outdoors, that's pretty cool. So that's my challenge, to influence those who can be influenced right now, to uphold hunting in a respectful and professional way, to not cave and stoop to the level of the filthy haters that are out there, but to rise above it. That's my call to everybody. Rise above it. And if you have the opportunity this year in 2025, whether it's shed hunting here in a month or two, turkey hunting this spring, scouting or summer whitetail prep, and certainly as we start getting into the fall hunting seasons of 2025, if you get the opportunity to take somebody hunting who hasn't been hunting, do it. Sacrifice a little bit of convenience and help mentor and grow a new hunter and outdoors man or woman. That's my call to you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. This was a lot of stuff that I wanted to talk about, and if you're still with us, I appreciate it. But got an awesome guest lineup coming up. I will end on that note and tell you guys that we have some really cool episodes coming to Fall Obsession Podcast. I don't think I've ever actually had this many podcasts scheduled this far out. I'll give you guys some little pieces of, I don't know the order they're all going to fall in yet as far as when we'll publish them, but I got my good buddy over here, Nick Powell. He's coming back on the show here pretty soon. I've talked in several of our recent whitetail podcasts about how there's a big part of our story from the 2025 season on Texas dirt that I have not told on the show because it's not my story to tell. It's Nick's story to tell. Well, now Nick's finally getting back on the show, so he's going to get the chance to tell that story. I got the brother of one of our staff members, Tim Burgess. His brother Kyle is coming on our show. He's got a pretty killer story to share with us from this past fall. You guys are going to enjoy it. My good friend Mike Behrens is going to come back here pretty soon to do a 2025 or first podcast with him of 2025, but to recap his 2024 season. Nick and I are going to do an in-person episode with Justin over at Bear River Archery coming up, so that's going to be a killer episode when that one happens. I'm super excited about that. And then got a John Stallone from Howl for Wildlife. He's coming back on the show in the coming weeks as well. Got some stuff that he wants to share with us. And then, I'll leave it at that. I got a couple other killer guests that are on the schedule as we get into February and March, but I'll save those and let you guys be a little bit surprised. But thank you all for listening. Appreciate y'all. Follow the socials if you don't already. Hit up the YouTube, subscribe, all that good stuff. Use the discount codes that I referenced at the beginning of the podcast. Save you some money on some cool outdoor gear. And with that, I'm hanging it up, and we'll be back with you guys again next week for another Fall Obsession podcast. Catch you then.